Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here from Droid Life. Today we're going to be doing a comparison between the newest 2015 flagships. On the left we have the HTC One M9, in the middle the LG G4, and on the right we have the Galaxy S6 Edge from Samsung. These are the latest and greatest, so we figured we should go over the externals, internals, and talk about what you can expect if you plan on picking one of these up. Since the G4 is the newest out of this bunch, let's go over the specs and kind of what makes the G4 a pretty sweet phone. To start it off, the G4 features a 5.5-inch QHD Quantum IPS LCD display. Resolution is 2560 by 1440 with 538 pixels per inch, so a lot of pixels. Processor is a 1.8 gigahertz Snapdragon 808 hexa-core processor, that is 64-bit, with 3 gigs of RAM. To talk quickly about performance, I've had the phone for about a week now. Haven't noticed any lag or performance hiccups or any issues like that. So big major plus. It's a good sign for the 808 since this is the first flagship device to feature the 808. For storage, this model comes with 32 gigs, although it does have a micro SD slot which supports up to 2 terabytes of storage. And for the battery, and it's a big deal for some of you guys, the battery is removable, 3000 milliamp hour, and right here's your micro SD slot and your SIM slot. So, the fact that you can remove the battery is a big advantage over, say, the S6 Edge and the One M9. So definitely a big advantage. Let's see, on the back side we have that 16 megapixel rear facing camera with OIS 2.0, f.18 lens, laser autofocus right here. Then on the front you have a 8 megapixel camera right there in the top left corner. Like LG, kind of stuck to their design. They have the volume up and down and power button on the back, so the sides are completely bare. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack there, USB ports. Now do note this is not quick charge 2.0 capable, so you can't do fast charging, although it does feature wireless charging, so that's good. Although when you compare that to the S6 Edge, which features the fast charging and wireless charging, two standards, definitely a major advantage. It comes running out of the box with Android 5.1. That's also an advantage over these two other devices, which run 5.0.2 out of the box, although it is noted that Samsung is working on a 5.1.1 update for the phone. Of course, you've got LTE connectivity, Bluetooth 4.1, has NFC, all that good stuff. It does have an IR blaster, 4K Slim port support. Basically all the good stuff. LG threw on UX 4.0, which is an updated version of their operating system. It's running Lollipop, so that's definitely a plus, but at the same time, LG, I wouldn't say dumbed it down, but kind of went that Samsung route and threw on a lot of UI tweaks and little things to kind of make it their own. Me personally, I'm sort of like a stock Android fanatic, so I kind of like the look of stock Android that you would find, say, on a Nexus device. But at the same time, LG did a fine job here, although you won't find as many kind of rich features as you get on the Galaxy S6. So moving along from the G4, although I should say G4 in hand feels pretty good. Although, say for example the One M9 features like an all metal build, kind of heavy, very premium feeling. G4 is quite different. A lot of plastic on this phone still. Not really any metal at all to be found. Maybe some of the components inside are metal, but big glass front, plastic, slim bezels, still feels pretty good. Very much different from the Galaxy S6 Edge, which is kind of all glass on both sides. Metal siding here, aluminum, aerospace grade from what they say, titanium or aluminum. Definitely a premium feel right there. Just trying to focus in on the bottom there. There you go. S6 Edge, very nice phone. Features a 5.1-inch QHD Super AMOLED display, 16 megapixel rear-facing camera. S6 Edge, unlike these two phones, has the fingerprint scanner as well as a heart rate monitor. None of those are available on these two devices. You have your updated TouchWiz, which is very non-janky, very nice OS. We've done the full review of this phone and we absolutely love it. Average battery life, but the display is amazing. Camera is by far one of the best you can find on any smartphone. And, you know, the S6 Edge it's a fantastic phone. One M9, on the other hand, is LG's kind of, you know, it's a little bit more of the same that we saw with the One M7, One M8. Like I said, all metal design, but it does have 20 megapixel rear-facing camera. Where it, you know, differs greatly from the other two phones is that this has a 5-inch Full HD 1080p LCD 3 display. So not a lot of pixels. The camera, although it is 20 megapixels, doesn't take very good of shots. You would have thought HTC would have spent a lot of time trying to optimize its camera, but unfortunately it's not all that good. It does feature an SD slot, so it has that going for it over the Galaxy S6, but no removable battery. It has a 2840 milliamp hour battery. Definitely gets me through a full day, but other than that, you know, the One M9 never really kind of blew us out of the water, really impressed us like LG's trying to do, and Samsung definitely did with the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. And, you know, the other specs include the 2 gigahertz Snapdragon 810 octa-core 64-bit processor, 3 gigs of RAM. It also has the 2 terabyte support micro SD features, of course, and Bluetooth 4.1, NFC, no wireless charging, but it does come with the Quick Charge 2.0, so that's a definite plus. And then on the bottom, you've got a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, as well as IR blaster on top. And of course, those lovely volume and power button on the side that Kellen talked about a lot in his review that he totally loves. You know, besides that, kind of comparing the phones straight up, these two phones, the G4 and the S6 Edge, definitely have you know, better displays, I would say, than the One M9. But the camera on the G4 is super impressive. It features this new kind of pro mode, manual mode that allows you to tweak things like the ISO and white balance, which you can also do on the S6 Edge, but on the G4 you can tweak the shutter speed, which is cool for making those light trail effects, which you see in some professional photography photos that are definitely nice. It focuses very quickly with that laser autofocus, snaps quick, no real problems there. So if we were kind of doing like a quick voting rundown here, you know, we'll put the G4 back in the middle. Display would probably go towards the S6 Edge with the Super AMOLED. Colors are very nicely saturated. It looks real good and crisp. Although the G4 LG is coming right up on Samsung in terms of the display quality. It looks really good. Not as bland, I would say, as the G3 from last year, so they definitely made some major improvements in that department. As well as the camera. G3 camera was super fantastic last year, but the G4 is even better with those added tweaks and those bonuses of the manual mode. So props to LG, they brought a serious competitor, and still, a lot of people are going to want that expandable storage and removable battery. So, and since you can do that with the G4, a lot of people might be leaning that way. So display, you know, kind of toss it up between the G4 and S6 Edge in terms of like everyday real world usage. Yeah, if you're not going to be noticing too many differences if you're just watching YouTube videos and streaming Netflix and looking at Instagram. Nothing too crazy going on there. But, you know, when you're playing games or something like that, you might notice a few nicer things with the S6 Edge. Battery, I'd have to give that between the One M9 and the G4. One M9 only pushing that 1080p display, is running an underclocked Snapdragon S810. So, you know, you're going to be looking a little bit better at battery life, but maybe performance will be hindered a little bit. Camera, you know, at this point it's kind of a tie between the G4 and S6 Edge, although maybe the S6 Edge edges out just a little bit over the G4, but being able to do some of those tweaks with the G4 in that manual mode is definitely a plus. Although, like I said, you can do that on the S6 Edge and S6, but there is no shutter speed control, which I totally love on the G4. Each phone is great. Like I said, you know, they vary so much kind of in the way they look, the way they feel, the way they kind of do everything. They have completely different skins. I mean, these phones could not differ any more, I think, on paper and in person. So if you were thinking about picking one up, definitely I would suggest go into a store, play with them, see, you know, which one you think you like the most. I had the plastic version of the G4. I really prefer the leather version. I think it looks a lot better than this kind of diamondy, kind of texturized plastic back. But it's not bad at all. You know, the size is going to be an issue. 5.5 inch, 5.1 inch, and 5 inch. I mean, these are 2015 flagships, and they aren't similar at all. I mean, each company has done very well to kind of carve out their own little market for what their consumers might want. So if you have any questions in particular about each phone and kind of how they compare, contrast, differ, or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I've had each phone in my possession for quite a while, so I can answer pretty much anything you can throw at me. Until then, be on the lookout for the full LG G4 review, which should be coming up shortly, and we'll also be posting more photo comparisons between each flagship device that's coming out. So if you're a big mobile photography guy like I am, be on the lookout, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted when that's going to happen. And until then, we're Droid Life. Peace.